Hey buddy, how are you?
Late as usual.
Me? No, I was just getting a drink, that's why.
You need to connect it. I wasn't expecting you.
I know, I only found out today.
Let me connect.
So it's me today and Sean tomorrow.
Ah, yeah, it's on tomorrow.
Yeah, to the two semis.
Sit there.
Yeah, he's fine, mate.
Yeah,
I should have texted you, to be honest. I
thought no one's coming. I still have to.
Yeah.
I prepared it just in case.
Mate, you're faster than anyone when it comes to the mic. So, but you're right. I probably should have come up here first and then gone back.
Let me connect it.
How are you anyway, man? All right?
Pretty good. No problem at all. Testing, microphone 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Everybody, and welcome to Inglewood Stadium on a big night in the Australia Cup here in the West. It's preliminary semi-final action with a place in the round of 32 available and up for grabs as Inglewood United hosts Sorrento FC. My name's Tommy Dolman. It's a pleasure to be here tonight for the first of two semi-finals this midweek. Sean Fry will have you covered down at Dalmatinec Park tomorrow night for Coburn and Floreat Athena, which also kicks off at 7 p.m. and will be live across streamer.com.au and also tonight and tomorrow on the Football West Facebook page as well. So as you can see, Sorrento positioned, ready to go. Inglewood breaking from their huddle too. Your referee for tonight is Steve Gregory, and he'll be assisted by Liam Barkley and Joshua Throssell. Stuart Beattie is your fourth official. So a big night then for both these clubs whose seasons in the league may not have completely gone to plan, but there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow in terms of a place on the national stage and a position in this season's State Cup final. Only one may advance though, so will it be Inglewood or Sorrento? Sorrento get us started, kicking from right to left in the predominantly blue kits. Inglewood with the yellow shirts and the navy blue shorts, as Mark Barnett helps that one forward, and that one should run through to Inglewood skipper Alex Dunn with a big shout. Neither of these two teams have had to play NPL opposition en route to this season's preliminary semi-final. Inglewood United dispatching of Perth AFC of the Amateur Leagues 5-0 and then defeating Gosnells here by 3-0 and then a 3-2 win against Fremantle City of Division 1. As cross comes in from the right-hand side, the clearance trying to keep that one in play and doing well was Marino, and Inglewood are able to clear eventually through Sheeta Livings back there. Now Domfey, little ball inside to Makala. Sheeta Livings again passes a little heavy for Marino, and Sorrento will get a chance to occupy a little bit of territory inside the Inglewood half in these early stages. White goes long up the line. He gives Domfey something to chase. Getting his head on it first was McLaughlin. Drop of the ball was Tom Hunt, I think. Can't quite see the number over on the far side of the pitch. Last touch was deemed to be off Makala, though, and Sorrento will keep the ball. Sorrento, meanwhile, just the one goal conceded in their run through to the semi-finals so far. A 3-1 win at Ashfield. We'll come back to that in a second. Dylan White pinches the ball in midfield. Let's fly from distance. And Paddy Hughes is able to watch that one wide of the mark, although there was a deflection in there, and Inglewood will get the evening's first corner. So Ashfield 3-1, Mandurah 3-0. An impressive win there against a team many fancy to go up in season 2022 out of Division 1, and then they defeated Swan United 6-0 in the quarterfinals last midweek. So first set piece of the evening, it's to Monopolis to whip it in. It's an outswinger, getting his head to it there was Tilson. He made good contact, but wasn't quite able to get that one onto the target. Paddy Hughes will have a chance to settle things down in the Sorrento goal. I saw Paddy Hughes about a month ago down at the regional game in Albany. He was absolutely outstanding between the sticks. Unlucky to come out on the losing team as Perth Glory got a last-minute winner through their young starlet Quarren Go. Cummings heads forward. Sheeta Livings sticks out a leg. Ball just got away from Snowden, and Sheeta Livings will complete the clearance upfield, which Domfey flicks on, and McLaughlin's got enough time to tidy up. Domfey, so good at doing that, holding up the ball, but the pass was off the mark. Sliding the pass forward was Barnett. It gives Witchke something to chase. Winger, of course, playing against his former side tonight. Albeit quite a long time ago, Scott Witchke was here at Inglewood Stadium. He's been at the goals for past 6 seasons now. Tamata helps forward. Gibbs with a layoff. Poked forward again, I think by Tumanopoulos again. Once again, Hughes will distribute from the back. Forward from Hunt again. Helped on by Tumanopoulos, who sends it back in the direction of Domfey, who was coming back from an offside position. And once again, it'll be Sorrento ball. Both of these teams coming off defeats in the league at the weekend. Inglewood losing by 4 goals to 2 away at Balcatta, who are flying high in second place. And Sorrento losing by 3 goals to 2, a last-minute winner for Perth there. Danny Hayes' first 3 points since joining the Azuri. Tilson with some defending to do. Takes the safety first approach. Once again, though, it's Sorrento occupying territory, and Del Borello actually thought it was an Inglewood ball, hence why the throw was sent up the line. Barnett will now send it into the feet of Tweets. Barnett again. Sliding in, Del Borello. Sorrento will keep it. Last touch there was potentially off Tweet, so that'll give Inglewood United the ball deep in Sorrento's half. Crowds slowly starting to arrive in tonight. It is a midweek game, of course. Here in WA, a 7 p.m. kickoff, so people still making their way in from work, and it is a chilly evening as well. We have had quite a bit of rain here in Perth today. Most of it during the day, but the ground is still a little slippery and a little greasy, so it may take the players a little bit of time to adjust. Cummings won the header, and he also drew the foul. Sorrento skipper, who's been in really good form recently after a bit of a goal drought at the beginning of the campaign. Tweets will send in the free kick deep. Dunn will shout. He fumbled and grabbed it at the second time of asking. Here's Tilson, who scored a consolation goal at the weekend at Grindleford Reserve. Player who has come through the ranks here at Inglewood Stadium. White links up with Domfey. White's got plenty of pace. McLaughlin had to come across and did his job diligently. McCarla with a nod down. Marino with a bit of a scoop forward. Back forward by Tumanopoulos. Tamata. White was hustling. Tamata emerged with it. And then he sends that one forward. It'll skip away from Cummings, I think that was. In fact, it was Witchke, my apologies. Tumanopoulos was adjudged to have been a little over-enthusiastic there on Tweet, so went to ground wanting the free kick and got it. He'll get things moving quickly to Barnett. Another player who's played at Inglewood in the past, Mark Barnett. He had a stint here after coming back from a little period at Hearts. Important foot in there from McLaughlin. Barnett again. Chad Nielsen putting the pressure on. Barnett then went to ground under the challenge and also won the foul. So a little bit of a scratchy start here from both teams. A lot of set pieces. Remember, we will have a winner tonight. We will go to extra time and penalties if required, with a place in the round of 32 and the State Cup final up for grabs. Of course, that will be one of the first fixtures played at the brand new State Football Centre as well. So definitely something will be exciting to be a part of. Switch the play there from Hunt, didn't quite work out. Mentioned before that both of these teams lost their respective games at the weekend. Both of these teams also come into tonight's game in the bottom half of the NPL WA men's competition. In fact, all four semi-finalists are in the bottom half of the league, which has been a little bit of a feature of the past few seasons. The teams towards the bottom of the standings have really used this as a way to sort of keep their seasons going. Of course, Cockburn City and Armidale were representatives on the national stage for WA last season. Both of them didn't fare quite so well against NPL opposition from other states, but they did put on a stonking cup final here, which was one laid on by Cockburn at this very ground. Barnett a little eager there into the back of Nielsen, and Inglewood will get a chance to put a ball into the box, and it'll be Tumanopoulos who's on the dead ball. Chance for Tilson and for Sheila Livings to get forward. Everybody back defending for Sorrento other than Clay Gibbs. It's stood up by Tumanopoulos. It's close to Hughes. Domfay was leaping. And a late whistle against the centre forward. Domfay, of course, recently back from Europe as well, having gone over there for a trial. Played his first 90 minutes since returning at the weekend and got on the score sheet in that defeat to Balcatta. Here's Clay Gibbs. Real live wire on that right-hand side for Sorrento. The cross comes in. It took a deflection. It nearly ran through for Witchke. And Marino should have a little bit of time to clear and does. Now, he's a player that's really impressed Steve McGarry, has Clay Gibbs. Contributed a goal in the Cup against Swan and a couple of assists in the league as well. 8 goals in 19 games at under 16 level in 2022, so highly thought of. Snowden tries to bring that down. Here's Gibbs again, clips it in. It's punched away by Dunn. Nodded back across by Cummings. Sweets at the drop of the ball. Cummings then crosses. Marino in position to header clear. Danger still not quite dealt with yet by Inglewood. Eventually, it's Chol who just lifts that one up and away. A round of applause from the Inglewood players and the coaching staff as Nielsen put the pressure on Barnett. Snowden. Cross comes into the box. Dunn comes off his line and claims before it reaches Dean Cummings, and he'll set Nielsen on his way. Tumanopoulos forward. Pass was wayward once more. Been a bit of a feature of this first quarter of an hour or so. Australia Cup preliminary semi-final action here in the West. Inglewood 0, Sorrento 0. If you're late to joining us tonight, streamer.com.au. We're also on the Football West Facebook page as well over the next couple of nights. Tommy Dolman with you on the call. White will try and drive away from the attentions of Sorrento. Tamata was able to play off him and win a throw, though. Player who's come through the ranks at Percidor Reserve is Jackson Tamata. Witchke fighting hard, does really well, pulls back, Barnett with the drive, and it wasn't too far away from Snowden, who hung a leg out in hope. And that's the first real shot in anger from either team. It most certainly would have been a collector's item for defender Mark Barnett, who's playing on this left-hand side tonight. Of course, plenty of time to get down to Inglewood Stadium, of course, if you are in the area. Domfay's layoff invites Del Borello to get forward. Cross is a teasing looking one. It was an important touch away from Hunt, I think it was, in there. Only as far as Dylan White. Now Marino. Cross comes in. Teasing delivery. Nielsen might keep it in. Ball had already crossed the line, though, according to the assistant, whose flag was up promptly. Chol's ball up the line. Headed away by Barnett. Touched forward by Terminopoulos. Now Dylan White. He's been involved early. The former Western Knights forward. Domfay's layoff. White just lost his balance as he tried to strike and didn't quite catch it as we know he can. Player who scored 3 goals this season in the league and another in the cup. Got what proved to be the winner against Fremantle City in the last round. As the light rain starts to fall. Certainly very grateful to be up in the grandstand tonight here at Inglewood Stadium. Hughes' long clearance forward. Marino to Manopoulos. Tom Hunt with an opportunity to run forward. Snowden helps on. Marino read the pass. Wayward return there. It's in dispute here for both teams. Chol stood his ground and won the foul, though. Been one meeting between these two teams in the league this season. That was played in round 6 at this ground. Inglewood and Sorrento with a 1-1 draw. Michael Domfay and Gustavo Marilander with the goals. And if you're wondering where the Colombian forward Marilander is tonight, he is on the bench. So I'm sure if required, we will see him later in the game. Both teams with young options on the bench for the most part. Marilander for Sorrento, Harry Evans and Rene Casesa, those of regular senior playing time for the home team. terms of some of the omissions. No Kieran Salinger or Anthony Bafabusha for the hosts. The visitors without Scott Robertson, Tim Hill, Zach Dabbs and Jordan Brown, to name a few. Snowden helps on. White lifts it back. Sent forward by Marino. Domfay will compete in the air all day long. Or all night long, rather. As Lionel Richie would say. Tweets plays off Chol, who... will use Del Borello. Back for Tilson. Nodded back by Barnett. Chol again, who's had a pretty good goal-scoring season from midfield. Looks to be playing in that deeper screening role tonight, though. A little bit of time spent on the ball there. Snowden may try and capitalise. Witchke will drive into the area. Tilson stayed with him, though, and that was really good defending from the youngster. Domfay. Del Borello. Terminopoulos. Ball looks a little straight for Nielsen and Is. Player who loves to spray the passes around. Matthew Terminopoulos. Returning to WA this season after coming from NPL Victoria and the Port Melbourne Sharks. Nielsen lost his footing. Domfay tried something inventive. It was a little too firm for Makala. Rain coming down. Just that little bit harder. I mentioned before that Sorrento picked up a point here earlier in the season. They're actually unbeaten in the last 8 league meetings against Inglewood United. First time they've met in a post-season game or in a cup game since the Australia Cup was formed in 2014. In fact, prior to the draw here back in round 6, Sorrento had won the last 5 games, so it's a fixture they do like, and it is backed up by the overall record. Sorrento with 11 wins in the 18 NPL era meetings, 3 draws and 4 Inglewood wins as well. .66 goals in those 18 games, so 3.6 a game or just about. None tonight though so far. As the rain continues to pour, it makes it just that little bit harder for both sets of players. Domfay lays off. Makala was arriving, slammed away by Barnett. Dylan White looking to get to the byline. He'll cross off Tamata. And Inglewood will get the throw, so Sorrento probably occupied a little bit more of Inglewood's territory in the first 10 minutes or so. Inglewood just having a little bit more of the game in Sorrento's half over the past 10 minutes. Dylan White trying to wriggle away from a challenge. Tweets anticipated the pass. He sent it long and forward, but there's numbers back for Inglewood. And Dunn will clear forward. Veteran goalkeeper who won the goalkeeper of the year in 3 consecutive seasons between 2018 and 2020. And uniquely enough, he was a joint winner in all of them. Witschke with a turn around the corner. Cummings tries to return it to him. The cross comes in from Witschke. It might just stay in play and does. Shouts for handball by the Inglewood winger, and he's very confident of said appeal. Steve Gregory's having none of it though, and instead points to the corner flag. So Cummings with the delivery in, Dunn with a big fist clear. Clearance only as far as Gibbs, who helps it back in. It's a tough one for Dunn to deal with again. Does well though. Cummings back in now. Dunn called into action again. That time he looked fouled and the referee agreed. Del Borello lifts forward. Domfey did well. Pinched it off Barnett. Chad Nielsen drove towards the target. Just hit it off the instep slightly. And as a result, it drifted wide of Hughes' post. Nielsen, who's been playing a little higher up in the Inglewood formation than he was earlier in the season. He joined from Armidale as a left back last year, but with various injuries and absences, including that of Domfey, he's found himself even at times playing as a false 9. Tonight he's on the right wing. We saw what he'll be all about earlier, trying to cut in on that left foot. Nielsen over his head. McLaughlin just nudged Domfey under that one in expert fashion. Hughes has got to hurry and gets it forward. Marino's throw, looking for Chol. Two number 14s next to each other. Tweets was able to clear. It'll be take 2 from that far side. White looking to utilise that pace. He got the cross in as well. Both players went to ground. Play continues. Clearance was away from Hunt. In fact, it was Stoko, my apologies. Playing in the centre of defence. Delbrello's ball forward, headed away by McLaughlin. Up from Chol. Tweets helps back. Stoko with a scratchy-looking pass. Meanwhile, Tweets does really well to surge through midfield. Couldn't quite pick the pass. Ball might still break for Cummings. Stepping in was Tumanopoulos. And all the way back it goes from McLaughlin again. Throw taken here, looking for Snowden, looking to pinch the ball was Gibbs, who curls one, and he wasn't far away, was the youngster from picking out the top corner. Certainly as close as we've seen Sorrento come in this first half. Delbrello. Nielsen. Into touch from Barnett. Cummings anticipated the pass well, pinched it, tried to set Witschke on his way, back pass. Could have been a problematic one for Dunn, but he was there in the nick of time. Forward from Chol, Domfey, can he try and bring that into stride? He'll make a nuisance of himself, but Sorrento's defence did well to shield it back to Hughes. Just a couple of closing points on Sorrento's record overall in this fixture that I alluded to before. Last time Inglewood beat Sorrento at this venue was back in 2018, when a couple of Alex Salmon goals gave them a 2-1 win. It's been 4 games at this ground since that match for the home team. And Sorrento have also scored in every game at this venue in the NPL era, so the numbers are certainly in their favour, but in a cup game like this, anything can happen, and Domfey will try and turn the screw a little bit more for the home team here. He'll pull back for Nielsen. The layoff for Delbrello, who goes all the way back for Tilson. Assesses his options. Drilled ball forward was straight down the throat of Hughes and an easy take for Sorrento's number 1. McLaughlin. Cross for Stoko. Tweets. Picks the pass for Witschke. Now Cummings. Chol was watching him all the way. Domfay competing it again. And then Nielsen fouls Tweets. And that'll give Sorrento the ball back. Wichke's layoff. Hunter's got to be quick. Turnover ball. Inglewood with a chance to come forward. McCullough tries his luck from distance. It had Paddy Hughes scrambling for a minute, and in fact it took a deflection, and that'll be a corner ball. Not sure whether that was Hughes' glove or whether that was a defender who got a nick on that, but nevertheless it had the goalkeeper flying across his line. Tomanopoulos' ball in, it's a deep one. Domfay attacking, so too Tilson! And the Inglewood United youngster gives the hosts the lead. And the boy who's come through the ranks here at the club has delivered the first blow, which will send the league's bottom team on their way to potentially landing a national spot. It's Inglewood 1, Sorrento 0. So Inglewood 1, Sorrento 0. And in a battle between 12th and 8th in the league, it's 12th who leads. And it's the boy who's come through the system who's put them one to the good. That's 2 in 2 games now for the centre half. He also got one in the earlier rounds of the Cup against Gosnells as well. Inglewood United looking to make their first appearance in the round of 32, and it's a big step in the right direction as far as they're concerned. Domfay, meanwhile, trying to make it a quick fire salvo for the home team. Gibbs pinches possession. Screening, though, was Marino. Tamata. Gibbs. Turnover. Once again, Inglewood looking to try and punish them potentially. It's Domfay who goes from distance, and Hughes watched wide again. There was a touch on the way through, though. And we saw what the home side did from their last set piece. What can they do with this one? Once again, Tilson will come forward. Five yellow shirts Looking to get on the end of this for Inglewood. McCarla outside of the box. And it comes from Tumanopoulos. It's gone deep again as Sheeta Livings this time makes his way out there. And he was unable to turn that one towards the target. Hughes releases quickly. Marino got a touch in there. Back there helping was Tumanopoulos, but his clearance only found touch. Around 5 minutes remaining until the interval. Inglewood 1, Sorrento 0. Chris Tilson's header. A few minutes ago, the difference so far, streamer.com.au, Football West Facebook page as well tonight. Round of 32 and a State Cup final up for grabs. Nielsen onside, striking early, low, and an easy one for Paddy Hughes to grab. Barnett up the line. Witchke was offside. Inglewood free kick. Andres Oliveira would love to get his team into half-time, a goal to the good, and then just maybe reset things. Give his team a little bit of a team talk. Have lost their last 2 games, but before that they were a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. 4-0 win at Kingsway, a 4-0 loss at Perth, and then a 4-0 win at Stirling, remarkably. And just like many teams in season 2023, you often don't know what you're going to get week in, week out. The fact that Inglewood United are bottom of the league on 14 points, and they've already amassed more points than Balcatta did in the whole of last season, given they finished second bottom, is quite something. Just shows how even this competition truly is. In fact, only 9 points separates top to bottom, so as peculiar as it seems, even after 13 games, still up for grabs for anybody in terms of the title, the top 4 places, and also the relegation, with that jeopardy of the extra relegation playoff spot for the second bottom team this season. Witchke switch of the play was a beauty. Gibbs, how's that for a touch? And the finish is just wide of the mark. Well, that was a superb pull down from Gibbs out of the air, and you could see what he was trying to do, just guide that ball gently into the bottom corner. Dunn was flat-footed, and Inglewood custodian was happy to watch that one roll wide of the post. Lifted upfield by Dunn. Sorrento let the ball bounce. Domfey might be able to try and profit. He's only got one to aim for in the area. Cross comes in the right place to put into touch was Hunt. And Sorrento have some more defending to do. Marino. Del Borello, rather. Hughes comes off his line, catches two-handed. Tilson with a good first touch, up and under second. Forward to Del Borello. Great piece of control from McCarla given the conditions. And then an awkward-looking clearance from Del Borello, with the decision rather going the way of the home team. Dunn goes long. McLaughlin heads back. McCarla. Domfey giving chase. He'll get there as well, the centre forward. trying to beat his man. Space for a shot opens up. McCullough tried to be inventive. Dylan White at the drop of the ball. It's poked away by McLaughlin. And Inglewood will get another corner in the final minutes of the first half. Tumanopoulos on the set piece then. Half-time closing in. Attacking it was Ashita Livings. McCullough tried to head it back for the taker in Tumanopoulos. Tweets will try and send Sorrento on the counter. Delbrello will go all the way back to Dunn though. Barnett goes up the line. Del Borello will head into touch. And that might just about see us through. Maybe time for one final attack for Sorrento. As Tamata advances over halfway, he finds Gibbs wide right. Tamata went on the overlap. Gibbs came in board. Tweets was in a little bit of space. The layoff for Snowden. Snapping into the challenge was Tumanopoulos. Still a bit of time for the visitors. Barnett's ball forward. Cummings brought it down. He laid off looking for Gibbs. It was sent forward by Ashita Livings. And that'll do us for 45 minutes here at Inglewood Stadium. So not the most classic of first halves we've seen this season. But while the prize remains around a 32 spot and a place in the State Cup final, this one still got plenty of tension in it. Clay Gibbs had the best opportunity for the goals after he brought down Scott Witchke's crossfield pass and curl just wide of the post, but the game's decisive goal was scored by Chris Tilson. He got on the end of Matthew Tumanopoulos' corner at the back post and nodded in for his second goal in the Australia Cup to date. So half-time here, and it's the NPLWA's bottom side, Inglewood United, leading Sorrento by a goal to nil. We'll be back shortly with the second half here at Inglewood Stadium. Welcome back to Inglewood Stadium for the second half of this Australia Cup preliminary semi-final here in the West. Inglewood United 1, Sorrento 0 at the break. Chris Tilson's header on 37 minutes the difference so far. No changes made by either team after a very short half-time interval. We're set to go in a wet and windy WA. 45 minutes left for Inglewood to hold on and claim a first ever position in the round of 32. 45 for Sorrento to try and get themselves there for the first time in 5 seasons. And they'll look to get on the front foot straight away with Witchke giving chase. Conditions just making it that little bit harder now for both sets of players. Inglewood have only ever had one appearance at this stage of the competition in the 9-year history of the Australia Cup. We'll come back to that in a second, as players slide in left, right and centre. So Inglewood's only ever previous appearance at this stage was back in 2016. They lost at this ground by 9-2. Not a typo, 9-2 against Floreat Athena, would you believe? And since then, they've not been back to this game, as Barnett tries to drive forward. Sorry, Witchke rather, and Sorrento win a free kick. Sorrento looking to end a barren spell of their own, but more on that shortly. We'll come back to that after this free kick. So Cummings is over the free kick. He'll clip it in. It was lurking. Snowden then with a volley. It wasn't the worst try. It was a difficult technique off a skidding surface, and over the bar it sailed. So Sorrento have actually been to this stage of the Australia Cup in the past 3 editions. They lost to Floreat in 2019. There was no cup in 2020 due to COVID. ECU beat them in 2021 by a 1-0, and they lost after extra time at Percy Doyle Reserve to Coburn last year. So 3 times in a row they've made this stage of the competition and not quite been able to get to the round of 32. They'll be hoping it's not a 4th time tonight, but as it stands, that is looking to be the case. Inglewood with the throw, which is taken by Del Borello. Chol heads down. Makala. Back for Rashida Livings. Snowden's putting the pressure on, so too Gibbs. Rashida Livings did well to poke across to Marino. Of course, when you are playing in these conditions, it really is about the 1%ers, the little bits of effort and that extra burst or that extra piece of desperation to help get your team across the line. Still a long way to go in this encounter yet. As Marino lifts forward, Domfey heads inboard. Shouts for handball against Nielsen, nothing doing. Domfey then invites Del Borello to get forward, who'll take on the strike from distance. In fact, it was more across in the end from the full-back. This time the effort came in from Toumanopoulos, and he got it horribly wrong and sliced off the outside of the boot. Andres Oliveira, the Inglewood United head coach, be very happy with what he's seen from his team so far. A 6-time league champion and former state team rep as a player, mainly with Perth Soccer Club, of course. His 5th season here at Inglewood Stadium as head coach. He broke that 15-year trophy drought with a night series win back in 2021. I'd love to hold on to this and get to a cup final as well, as Toumanopoulos spreads wide for Tilson. He'll want his left-hand side. He comes in board on that now and gets the strike off. It took a deflection which had Hughes scrambling, but he got down low to make the save. Forward by Barnett. Witchke's layoff. Snowden making the run into the channel. Ball skipping off the surface. He wasn't able to keep that one alive and in play. Hugo Snowden, who's back in WA with Sorrento after previously playing with Perth Glory's Academy and more prominently perhaps with Stirling Macedonia in their promotion-winning season back in 2021. Was a key contributor to the youngster with several goals off the bench as Ian Ferguson's team went up and won the league by quite some distance over the rest in Division 1. They obviously went on to have that great season last year as well, finishing just shy of Florida Athena, who won the title. Certainly right up there in contention once again. Not quite the same for these two teams so far in season 2023, albeit it's amazing what a bit of momentum in the Cup can do for the rest of the season. Of course, the transfer window is opening up tomorrow. June 21 to June 30 are the dates, so chance for both of these teams to be active perhaps and add some fresh faces as Nielsen lifts the cross into the area. Dylan White was arriving at the back post, trying to shake off his opponent. Joe Marino might have been caught by Gibbs. Play continues. Cross came in from Marino. Dangerous looking ball, but it was picked up by Hughes. Stoko up the line. Back from Ashida Livings. Lifted forward by Hunt. Hooking over his shoulder was the goal scorer, Tilson. Gibbs stayed on side, was able to help it on. Ashida Livings got a slight touch, but certainly nothing intended by way of getting it back to Dunn. Sorrento substitutes are warming up off your picture, and it looks as though an early change is going to be prepared, perhaps here by the goals. I'll bring you more on that shortly. As Gibbs brings that one down. Tamata goes back for Stoko. Tweets, heavy looking touch, chance maybe for Tumanopoulos to profit. He'll pull back for Wyatt, and now McCullough! Stunning save from Hughes. Might have just been dipping under the bar, you know, but it was a fine reaction from Sorrento's number one. That sweeping left-footed strike from Inglewood's top scorer this season. And they nearly punished. A little bit of casual play from Tweets. Corner comes in from Tumanopoulos. It's a tough one for Hughes to deal with, and it's partially cleared by Tweets, who did really well to snap at the heels of Domfey and win it back, and he'll try and set Sorrento surging forward. Cummings with the ball, advances over halfway. Tweets again. Look at the Inglewood numbers streaming back, though, and Tumanopoulos is the one who's able to cut it off. And just a real hint of the work rate we've seen from the home team tonight. Flooding back there. 7 or 8 of them streaming back to try and get behind the ball and snuff out that Sorrento counter. Now Chol. Del Borello. Cross comes in. Domfey, flashing header. Touch came off. Tamata did it. It did. And the fullback turns it behind. We're going to see Callum Dobbs and Gustavo Marulanda introduced for Sorrento in a moment or two. So Tumanopoulos' corner comes in. It was a little too close to Hughes, and in fact it dropped onto the top of the net, and now chance for Sorrento to at least make one of those changes. In fact, they'll make both now, with Marulanda just entering your screen. So Callum Dobbs and Gustavo Marulanda on. It's going to be Tom Hunt and Scott Witchke who make way. So I suspect Marulanda will be a like-for-like-ish replacement for Witchke. Maybe a little reshuffling of that front three, and Dobbs will also come into the centre of the park to provide some fresh legs for Hunt. Looks as though Marulanda will go centrally and Hugo Snowden will slip out wide. Or perhaps we may even have seen a little tweak of tactics as well from McGarry. Keep an eye on that. Marulanda trying to make an impact immediately, bustling his way through, tweets with a strike. And Dunn got hands to it. Not sure that was heading inside the post, but the goalkeeper wasn't to know. Corner comes in from Sorrento. It's a little bit too long, but Marulanda can retrieve. Looking to get to the byline. Tilson stuck to him like a glove. And Sorrento will get a set piece going from the opposite side of the pitch. So Cummings on the corner. Drilled in. It was an awkward looking header from Makala. Good enough to get it down to Tilson, who just takes the risk-free approach of banging it forward. Chol gives Domfay something to chase into the channel. Gibbs was back defending, and Sorrento can recycle the ball. Tamata. Weight of numbers. Wins out for Inglewood. Makala lifting forward. Domfay chasing. Definitely onside the striker. Two Sorrento defenders across in cover though, and Hughes is able to claim. Snowden barged off it by Tilson. Lifted upfield again by Del Borello, and once again the goalkeeper's called into action. Steve McGarry urging his team to get the ball wide and spread the pitch. Joined the goals late in the pre-season, did the former Perth Glory midfielder. I'm sure he'll be looking to bring some trusted lieutenants into the club during this upcoming transfer window period, of course. Players who have played in the competition will already be cup-tied, should they do advance. Meanwhile, Tilson tried to shake off Gibbs, who's gone over across to this left-hand side now. Tweets. Back for Gibbs again. Loves to run with the ball to the youngster. Pass was misplaced. Barnett forward. Cummings with the layoff. First meaningful touch for Dobbs. Barnett was eyeing up the switch of the play. He went straight instead for Maralander. Now Snowden. Joe Tweets. Callum Dobbs. Tamatta's peeled wide. Sorrento opting for patience. Tilson over and into touch. So Inglewood 1, Sorrento FC 0. Touch over an hour played here at Inglewood Stadium. Hughes with a cool head. Chris Tilson's goal still the difference tonight. Inglewood 2/3 of a way to a round of 32 and State Cup appearance. Gibbs will try to change that though. Passing board, Maralander unmarked, got the shot off. Great block from Ashita Livings, he'll lay back. Tweets on the ball, look to try and make a yard. Tamatta, no real width for him, so had to use Tweets again. Cross was then a little too straight, and that's an easy take for Dunn. Domfey trying to get the better of Stoko, who slid in. And the challenge was clean and out for a throw. Marino's throw. White's layoff. Marino again with a cross. Domfey leaping. Nilsson lurking. Gibbs clearing. Now Del Borello. Chol. Nilsson. Inglewood's turn to try and keep a little bit of the ball. Now the killer pass is attempted. Dylan White. Rain comes down again. Sliding in White, doing everything he can to try and keep it alive for the home team. He does really well. In fact, the cross comes in left-footed. It's very deep and there's no takers at the back post. And in the end, it's Gibbs who's scooting away and he's clearly pulled back there by Nilsson. And that'll be the first booking of the evening, I suspect, and Stephen Gregory does show the yellow card, and a pretty clear one at that, in halting Sorrento's opportunity to counter. Maralander was offside from the free kick forward. If you did miss it, or you are late to joining us in this second half, Sorrento with a double change early in this second period with Callum Dobbs and Gustavo Maralander entering the pitch. Inglewood yet to turn to their bench just yet. They do have the likes of Harry Evans and Rene Casesa waiting if required. Snowden's layoff. Maralander, good midfield win from Tumanopoulos. Dylan White with a chance to get forward again. Tamatta was backtracking. He got the foot in. But the challenge led at the feet of Domfey. They're headed back across from Nilsson now. Sorrento partially clear to Del Borello. Now Nilsson, in-swinging cross on that left foot. Domfey's leap. Makala brings it down. Shot on the turn is blocked And then Tweets with a rather spectacular overhead clearance. Partially got it clear, and then Chol tried his luck from distance with a rather speculative effort. Barnett. Defender looking to try and make something happen. Dobbs. Tamata. Dobbs again. Tweets. Stoko. McLaughlin. Barnett. Everybody behind the ball for Inglewood. Marilander. Tweets. Barnett again. Cross comes in now. Ashita Livings with a header clear. McCalla forward. He was caught late. So Tilson, the goal scorer, over the free kick. Long and forward it goes. Away by Dobbs. Only as far as White. In fact, it was Stoko who headed away. That was Dobbs at the drop of the ball. And it was the substitute who drew the contact. Got my 2 and 22 mixed up there. Barnett, marauding run forward from defence by Mark Barnett. He's got Cummings alongside him. Real enterprising stuff from the defender who stayed forward for the moment. Forward it goes now. Barnett still trying to make a nuisance of himself. The header clear. Now Chol. The runner ahead of him is Chad Nielsen. Peeling away to try and get there first was McLaughlin, and he did a really good job in anticipating that ball into the channel. And is absolutely hammering it down now at Inglewood Stadium. Sorrento still trying to play their football though. Stoko. Dobbs. Touch just got away from him slightly. White goes up the line. McCalla is the chaser. He's got plenty of pace to burst into the area and pull across for Dompe! The man for the moment to put Inglewood 2 to the good. And almost, just almost, into a first ever round of 32 appearance. It's Inglewood 2, Sorrento 0. Inglewood 2, Sorrento 0. Big goal. Shubha McCalla with the pace to drive into the penalty area. The pass was precise. And the finish was one which Domfe couldn't miss. It doesn't matter how they come. They're all as important as each other. Snowden trying to respond, though, straight away with a snapshot from range, which is gobbled up by Dunn. And the home team are a touch over 20 minutes away from booking their place on the national stage and also in State Cup final later in the season. They might get a chance to kill it off now. Domsvay with the fancy footwork just lost his balance. Dobbs. What have Sorrento got up their sleeve? We know they're capable of being a little bit more direct if they need to be. But at this stage, it's looking as though for a 4th year in a row, they're going to make the penultimate game before the Australia Cup proper. Unless we see a dramatic comeback in the final 20 minutes. Barnett will try and launch that into gear. Tamata with a layoff. Stoko. Cummings. He won't leave anything out on the pitch. Sorrento skipper, that's for sure. Barnett now forward. Snowden chasing into the channel. Tilson with some defending to do. He's been terrific so far at the back today, Chris Tilson. Clay Gibbs. Chance for the youngster to run with the ball here. The pull back. He had 2 on the edge of the area. Missed both of them. Sorrento with another change. We're going to see Shea Natalotto get an opportunity here. He'll come on for Jackson Tamata. And he will make a charge towards the penalty area. Looks as though it's going to be a like-for-like swap on this right-hand side. Inglewood still yet to use their bench. Stoko. Domfay putting the pressure on. McLaughlin the last man back, other than Hughes. Cummings' layoff. Joe Tweets. Forward by Dobbs. Tweets got on the end of it. Dobbs again. Cross comes in. Dunn comes. Important punch. And White will be in hot pursuit, trying to keep it in play, and he did really well. Inglewood try to play out from the back. Not successful, though. As Marilander peels right, gets the ball. Natalotto making the run ahead. The switch of the play instead was precise for Gibbs. Marilander again. Forward from Tweets. Cummings trying to get on the end of it. Might just keep it in play and does. Sorrento trying to build ahead of steam. As Inglewood try to remain organised and disciplined and full of energy, and they work proficiently hard enough to get it clear. Suspect you're going to see a lot of this in the last quarter of an hour. A lot of defending, a lot of structure and organisation from the hosts. Been a tough season. But progressing here could mean oh so much. They win it back again. Nielsen this time finds Domfay. Barnett, Tweets. Marilander coming deeper to get more involved. Didn't like anything he had on, so went himself. Tweets. Natalotto into the area. Chance to cross. It hits Ashita Livings. Ball back at the feet of the Sorrento substitute. Cross comes in again. Once again, Inglewood deal with it. To a man, they stand tall. Dobbs now across. Marilander's layoff. Cummings lifts forward. Natalotto giving chase. Dunn dives on it. Tweets again. Seeing plenty of the ball at the moment, as are the visitors in general. McCarla, creator of the second, shrugs the Colombian off the ball. Tilson now across for Robbie Del Borello, who spins that one up the line. Domfe tried the finesse. It's a Sorrento ball again. McCarla, such a consistent figure. With Balcatta over the years, came after a season with Perth Soccer Club last year. That's about as no-nonsense as it comes from Del Borello. Gibbs. Marilander. Stoko getting forward. Natalotto finds him. Once again, though, they go backwards and allow Inglewood to get behind it. The header forward from Snowden. Ashita Livings took no chances. Down from Marilander. Snowden competing. Marilander winning the header. Still not dealt with. And the free kick goes against Marilander. Looks as though Inglewood United are preparing their first change of the evening. Harry Evans just going through a couple of final checks. And in fact, we're going to see him right now by the looks of it. So we'll see who comes off. No one wants to leave the pitch at the moment. Everybody wants to be a part of this. And belatedly, it will be McCarla who makes way. So really sort of come to life in the second period. Shub McCarla, he loves getting in between the lines, and it was that pace, that burst, which set Inglewood onto a potentially decisive counter-attacking move, which gives them the game's second goal and that crucial break as they aim to see this one out. Nielsen. Left it behind. Gibbs. Sorrento throw. Ball forward here, Domfe, unmarked, plenty of space, coming in board, bodies hit the floor, the poke towards goal, Hughes got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out, and Michael Domfe's match-winning double here is going to put Inglewood United into a State Cup final and surely guarantee their spot on the national stage once and for all. It's Inglewood United 3, Sorrento 0. So, when the moments have mattered in this second half and the chances have presented themselves, Inglewood's number 9 has delivered with 2 goals, which have given Inglewood United a real high-quality insurance policy now. It's going to have to be an almighty crash back down to earth if they are to give this one up now. As Sorrento push forward, trying to at least put the Frighteners into the league's bottom team. Gustavo Marilander goes to ground right on the edge of the area. And he's up quickly, and Sorrento do have a free kick. And predictably, the goals number 10 is back to his feet. So Marilander's over the dead ball. It goes low, it deflects, wide of the mark. Opted to go for pace there and chanced his arm at a little bit of luck. Plenty forward attacking this corner now, as you'd expect for the visitors. And it comes done with a partial fist. It nearly went into his own net. Stoko not quite able to turn it in. Dobbs with the corner. Header was last off Barnett. And it'll be a goal kick. So, 8 minutes to play. Inglewood United 3. Sorrento FC 0. Andres Oliveira's team nearly there. Australia Cup preliminary semi-final action tonight from Inglewood Stadium. Wet and windy. And here comes Domfey again, looking to add more pain perhaps. He'll take the strike on. Hughes with a save by leg this time. He's certainly done all he can tonight as Sorrento's stopper. Cross comes in again. Domfey tried to help on again. And the last touch was off the Inglewood number 9. Changes will come thick and fast here for both teams. We're going to see Rene Casesa enter the field, and we're also going to see Benson Ensegede come onto the pitch. So Ensegede will enter the fray for Dylan White, and Casesa will come on for Chad Nielsen. So some fresh legs on both flanks for the home team for the final 7 minutes or so. Sorrento are also going to bring on Theo Gilson, and it seems to be David Stoko who's making his way off the pitch. Both these teams back in league action at the weekend. Inglewood will be back here at home against Armidale, and then they're away at Bayswater and at home to Perth. Has Marilander stayed on side here? He has. Dunn nearly fumbled. No harm done. Sorrento, meanwhile, with a trip to Red Star next weekend on the short backup, and then Coburn at home and Glory away, albeit that home game against Coburn. We'll have to see where that's played, given the status of Percy Doyle's use for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Either way, though, it's such a tight season in the competition, as mentioned earlier on the stream tonight. Top to bottom separated by just 9 points, and with 9 games left, there's plenty of points on the board and plenty of time for both of these teams who are currently in the bottom half to make a little bit of progress in the back end of the campaign. Sorrento just 2 points above Inglewood going into tonight's game. Yet they're 8th and Inglewood are 12th, so it just goes to show just what the landscape of this league is like. But for the visitors, it's going to be very much back to the drawing board perhaps after back-to-back defeats following 2 wins against Armidale and Bayswater. We've actually seen one of the floodlights flash out to the right of your screen. Not sure that's been spotted by the officials yet. Play will continue. Eventually the ball is poked out. Lights are still on in your picture at the moment, but it's more to this near side of the pitch. Gilson's cross. Tilson's been fantastic all night long. Domfey was caught late there by McLaughlin, and he'll become the second player to go into the referee's notebook tonight. 1 apiece in that column. Tumanopoulos goes short. Casesa with the early cross. Deep delivery. Hughes was backpedaling and able to make a pretty comfortable catch. He'll set Gibbs on his way. Well and truly in the latter stages of this one now. It looks as though Sorrento will be another near miss at this stage of the competition, but by far a real highlight of the hosts' campaign to date. Tweets with a switch. Natalotto on side. Looking to come in board. Waits for the support to arrive. Snowden was in the box. Turning, striking. Wide of the mark. It's going to be Inglewood's first win in this fixture in 9 games since 2018, when they won by 2-1 at this venue in the league. It's the first time they've met in the cup as well, as mentioned in the first half. And I suppose if you are going to break a drought, then this, when the prize is so big, is the night to do it. Tweets turns away. Final couple of minutes. Anything Sorrento get now will surely be only a consolation. Switch of the play for Gibbs. Barnett forward. Partially headed away by Marino. Gilson waits. Goes back for Tweets. Turned around the corner by Marilander. Picked off by Chol. In fact, it was Casesa in there. My apologies. There's Chol lifting it upfield. Casesa will try and get on the end of it. It's headed clear by Barnett. Into touch by Chol, but doesn't really matter too much. 90 minutes on the clock now. Only stoppage time remains. Inglewood fans will be tuning in for the draw for the Australia Cup round of 32 proper, which is due to happen next week. Most of the teams across the country have now booked their place. Inglewood have rubber-stamped their ticket tonight. Coburn and Floreat will meet in tomorrow's other semi-final, and the winner of that game will play Inglewood United in the 2023 edition of the State Cup final, which of course will be played at the State Football Centre out in Queen's Park. A little bit of history there in terms of the potential first men's match to be played at that venue. Domfey charging forward, looking to cap off another solo run. Desperately lunging in there was Barnett, and he was able to slide in and keep the score to 3. Tweets now with a switch. Slightly behind Natalotto. Stephen Gregory has a look at his watch. Joseph Marino to take the throw. Hit Kasesa in the face. Evans with a layoff. Domfey helping it forward for Kasese, who'll try and run onto it. Inside, outside, poked away by Gilsonen. Inglewood in absolutely no rush to take the throw. Looking to milk every moment of this on the pitch, although sure, with the rain tumbling down, the players will also be keen to get in and have a warm shower. Inglewood United, for the first time in the Australia Cup era, a round of 32 bound. Perth AFC, Gosnell City, Fremantle City, and now Sorrento FC. It's 4 wins for the NPL WA's bottom side, which has got them through to a national spot and a place in the State Cup final to be played at the State Football Centre against either Coburn or Floreat, whoever wins tomorrow's second semi-final. And it was a 3-0 win on the night for the home team as they enter the draw for the first time since the competition began in 2014. It was a game where the conditions were tough and the percentages were crucial, and Inglewood on the day just did those little bits and pieces that little bit better. Chris Tilson with a set piece in the first half, headed in Matthew Tumanopoulos' corner, and then Michael Domfey, when 2 moments arose, took 2 chances and made it 3 goals for Inglewood. And in totality, a comprehensive win on the whole, as they book their tickets and will be keeping an eye on the draw, which will be happening next week. So Andres Oliveira's team are through. They'll play the winner of Coburn and Floreat tomorrow. A full-time score here of Inglewood United 3, Floreat Athena 0. Thanks to Goran on the camera. I've been Tommy Dolman. We'll catch you at the weekend for more NPL WA men's action. Good night from Inglewood Stadium.
It's only going to